If it seems like we keep doing SUV reviews, it's because you keep buying SUVs. More than 50% of the cars sold now are SUVs. So it's your fault, not mine. But this week we've got Nissan X-Trail. And of course, X-Trail comes in a bunch of trim levels, a bunch of prices. There's 3 engines, 2 transmissions. Here are their prices. Now, it might interest you to know that the recommended retail price on this is not what they're being sold for at the moment, and that's a drive-away price. And for that drive-away price, you get these fancy LED lights that are automatic. They come on at night. They've got automatic high beam. The solid bit here on the badge, it means radar cruise control. But there's no front sensors, and that drives me bananas. And I'm a bit AC/DC about the looks too. I'm not in love with it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. The whole front end, it looks kind of blunt. Nor am I fussed with the line that goes up and over the guards and then gently comes up here to the back door handle. It just doesn't sit well with me. And if you've got the key in your pocket, which I don't, it's inside the car, there's a little rubber button here that locks and unlocks the doors. And you can tune that to how you want. It can unlock just the driver's door or all the doors. There's some sensors at the back, some more LED lighting, and let me show you this. As long as you've got the key in your pocket, so I've now got the key in my pocket, you kick in the back and the door glides open for you. And once the door's open, this is where you start to notice a few little odd things. First of all, you have to appreciate the Japanese are obsessed with flat floors in the cargo area. Let me show you what I mean. Under here is a space saver spare tyre, but look at what you've got to do to get to it. First you have to put that one down, then you have to put that one down like that, then you've got a lower floor. But if you want to get at the spare, you've got to take that up, and there's the spare tyre. And you'll notice right in the middle of the spare tyre is this enormous subwoofer for the Bose sound system. The seats go down in a 60/40 split, and this is the armrest for the rear seats. And the rear seats have a bit of a party trick. And the party trick is this. Look at how much space there is between my knees and the seat in front with the seat set for me driving. That's, 6 inches. I mean, that's just extraordinary. The floor is fairly flat, not completely, but fairly flat. And there's a couple of vents. And the seats are heated, but the button for the seat heating in the rear is in the front. Why couldn't they just put it here on the rear console? There's plenty of room. Generally, it's a nice place to be back here. You sit fairly high, but this headrest still takes up quite a lot of space. Nonetheless, there's a good view out the front. And headroom is also good. There's a good couple of inches there, despite the fact that this has the glass headroof. I'll show you that once we're on the road. In the front, it feels like there's a ton of space. And there is a ton of space. There's power driver seats with lumbar control, Bose audio, and lots of space for bottles and bits and bobs. In the front, there are controls for the all-wheel drive system, some downhill descent control, heated seats for the front seats, and this is the rear heated seat control I told you about earlier. Now, it seems daft to me to put that in the front. Why not just put it in the back? Up top are the controls for the sunroof and lights, and this rather attractive light headlining, which I suspect will get very, very dirty. But the sunroof seems a little bit small. It's just a little bit wider than my finger span. You can give it another push and it slides back another few inches, but that still seems kind of small considering the size of the glass roof. The infotainment system is all present and accounted for. The screen seems a little bit small. I'd like to have seen it wider. And these buttons do seem a little bit old-fashioned. They do the job, but they still seem a little bit old-fashioned. Of course, there's a camera button, which I quite like the look of, and it gives you a 360 top-down view. Very, very handy for parking. And by pressing the button, you can change the view so that you can see exactly where your wheels are when there's a gutter right next to you. Below the air conditioning controls is a USB port, auxiliary input, and a power input. Sadly, this tray is not wireless charging for your phone. I think that's something they could have put in. Generally, the surfaces are quite nice. They're nice and soft, even on the top of the dash. And the driver's instruments is standard stuff with a lovely big LCD in between, which of course has a electronic speedo. X-Trail has some really cool features like the cooled cup holders. It's only using the air conditioning, and you use this little middle baffle to regulate, to kind of turn it off and turn it back on again, simply by taking it out and putting it back in the other way around. It should stand X-Trail in good stead, but it's not a new car, and it's up against models like the RAV4 from Toyota, which is brand new, and it's got a lot of the new gadgets that you would expect from a new car. That's not to say this still doesn't have lots of gadgets, especially safety gadgets. It's got what they call safety shield, which is not, as you might think, a force field. It's a suite of safety gear that comes in to protect you, and I'll show you that on the highway. Ride around town is not too bad. It's not exceptional, but it's not too bad. I feel like it really does need to be a little bit softer. The old X-Trail, the previous generation, was my favorite car. The seats were so comfortable. It was just delicious. It had a lovely 6-cylinder engine and a proper automatic transmission. This one has a 4-cylinder engine and a CVT. And the CVT does make the engine sound quite breathy, especially when you try and get stuck in. Like, I'm going up a hill now, and I put my foot down just a touch. Now, it sounded like it was changing gears, like it does in Toyota and Subaru. But of course it's not, it's just simulated gear positions. And it's meant to not allow the engine to rev, like CVTs of old used to do. But on the highway, this really does run out of breath quite quickly. Handling. Handling is not too bad. It is what I might call sedate. We're not now on tight corners by any means, but we are on sweeping country roads doing 80 kilometers an hour. It doesn't feel to me like it's going to let go, but nor does it feel particularly well poised. It doesn't feel like it's going to let go, but nor does it feel like it wants to go faster. Pulled up just to, there we go, fix the cargo cover in the back. The flap was sticking up and obscuring my view. The one thing I really don't like is this foot-operated parking brake. I like to sit with the seat reasonably close, and it's a bit of a kerfuffle to try and get my leg to it. Get up to cruising speed. Can you hear that din? Now, it does step up very slightly from time to time, but it still feels to me like it makes the engine somehow feel weaker. It robs the engine, it robs the driving experience of any joy. And yet, this same transmission is in Pathfinder, and in Pathfinder, it doesn't seem too bad at all. Now we're on the highway, I can demonstrate a few gadgets. We don't have active lane control or active blind spot monitor. So if you go to wander outside the lane, let me go a little over here. Let's see if I can make it beep. Can you hear that beep? Same goes with the blind spot monitor. It's just a flashing light. Now, the mirrors do have heating, so that's a good thing. And of course, it's got autonomous emergency braking. One thing we do have though, you turn it on, is active cruise control. So I've now got my feet off the pedals and the car is doing its own thing. It's keeping us at the speed limit and it's making sure that we don't hit anything in front. Not that there is anything in front, but if there was, we wouldn't hit it. The other thing too is it is, with these large wheels, a little bit noisy on the freeway. The ride though on this reasonably smooth surface is very good. It's very comfortable. There are other gadgets too. As I said, the stereo sounds absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now I test all of these audio systems at 0 so that I can compare apples with apples. I never change them, not for anyone. And the Bose system really does sound good with that thumping woofer in the back tyre. Fuel consumption, let me just scroll across, a rather disappointing 8.2 litres per 100 kilometres. So now at 110 kilometres an hour, we're still doing 2,500 RPM, which I think is rather high. I reset this when I got on the highway just to get a highway reading, and I think 8.2 is too high. The other odometer is showing 8.6, so that one's done a little bit of city driving as well. And finally, there is a little bit of wind noise around the pillars here at the front. Not a lot, just a little. But if you've liked the film, please leave a like, leave a comment, but above all, just there to subscribe.